Good evening, or good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the wonderful world of Tottenham Hotspur. This is THFC Till I Die, and this is the first of our new Monday night podcasts, which we've tentatively named the Monday Night Massacre. Now, you can work out the meaning of that for yourself as the show goes on, but I'm joined tonight by the newest member of the THFC Till I Die family. It's Boris, and Boris is going to have a chat with me about various things to do with Tottenham this week, the transfer market, the game on Saturday, and more significantly and more, this is not a good subject we have to talk about, is the antics of Yves Bissouma. Boris, how are you tonight?
Not too bad. Yeah, seems we'll have to get into this drama sooner or later. It was bound to happen.
It was. Well, something like was bound to give, and I'm very disappointed that it's happened. But anyway, listen, we're going to get onto that now in a second. But I just wanted to go back to harp back to last Saturday's match against Bayern Munich, and just one little thing that happened at the end of the match, which I think, we all know what Harry Kane thinks of Tottenham. He's a Tottenham man through and through. He's still a class act. And I have to say, what he did on Saturday evening there, not giving the captain's armband up to another Bayern player so he didn't have to collect the trophy in front of the Spurs fans, I thought just showed what a class act Harry Kane is. And I'd just like to thank him for that. It would have been a little bit, stuck in the throat if he'd have gone up and picked up that trophy and waved it around in front of the Spurs fans who adored him for all those years. So well done, Harry Kane. You're still a Spurs. You're still a Spurs man, as far as I'm concerned, even though you're playing for somebody else. So, Boris, what do you think? Do you think Harry Kane is still a class act?
Yeah, of course he is. You have to remember that he could have gone up there and actually collected a trophy for another team, even though it's still friendly. Would have still stung quite a bit considering he's been a Spurs player through and through his entire life. So it would have stung, and it's really respectful of us, and that shows that he still has a deep care and affection for us. So we know he's always going to be a class act for us. He never hasn't been. He's always given 110% when it comes to it. Yes, sometimes it hasn't worked out, like in in finals and stuff like that. He hasn't performed, but unfortunately, that's just how football is. It's a luck-based game. He just got unlucky during those times. But overall, he's an amazing player.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And I say it was, I know it's disappointing that we lost to Bayern Munich. And okay, there was a few defensive frailties, which I hope will not be carried forward to next Monday night against Leicester. But hopefully we'll get it right there. But there's a lot of good stuff going forward there. And I think we've a lot to look forward to, We're going to discuss Yves Bissouma now in the middle, and Dermot's working the background for us tonight. Thank you, Dermot. If you can just bring up a few of these comments and welcome people into the chat. Scott Colliver is saying, I think it has to end Bissouma's time at Tottenham. I don't think too many Spurs fans will disagree with you on that one, Scott. And Jaidi is saying he should be sold. He's not fulfilling his potential anyway. He hasn't really since the Luton game last season when he got sent off for diving. Okay, I saw him play against Burnley in the third last game of the season last season, and he was excellent that day. But for a player of the price that we paid for him, and for his stature and his ability, he's not been playing well, And it's sad, but and then he goes and does something. Just bring up the banner there, Dermot. Oh, Indian. Am I English? No, I'm not. I'm Irish. Thank you, Dermot. Dermot's got my back as always on that one. Terry Wright is saying Bissouma needs to go. Hopefully this is a breach of contract and I can move him out with minimal losses. We don't need him around the young players. Yeah, good point, Terry. I'm sure there is something in those players' contracts these days. What with the gambling thing and all that. Like, okay, this isn't something that is too commonplace, although maybe it is. We just haven't heard about it. I mean, let's face it, if Bissouma had done that in private and said nothing about it, we wouldn't have a clue what went on. But the fact that he put it up on Instagram just makes me shake my head and say, what the hell are you doing, man? Does he not realize that people are going to jump on it? Even if you have a thing up on Instagram for 10 seconds and then take it down, it's going to be copied and people are going to know it's up there. So anyway, Dermot, we'll bring up the banner about if you can there, about Bissouma. Now, this may sound a little bit harsh, but there you go. I mean, from my reading of it, nitrous oxide, the use of it in public, is a Class C drug offence. It's only legal if it's used in hospitals in labour wards and things like that. It is not legal to shove it up your nose in public and then put it up on Instagram. Boris, do you think the police could be knocking on his door? Apart from what the club's going to do to him.
Boris isn't around at the moment, so I'll jump in for a minute, Philip, to Boris's back. I think they should, Philip. I really think they should. It's a disgrace. I will be doing a pre-record on this myself, so I'm not going to really go too much into it. But Philip, would you have got previous players doing this? It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and then to put it up on social media as well. Come on.
Yeah. I know, Jeremy. Like, as you know, I've been a big defender of Bissouma.
You have.
You know, I know you've had your doubts about it. I've given him every opportunity, but I'm afraid I've lost all interest in the guy now. It's not that I'm a fuddy-duddy or I'm old-fashioned or stuck in the mud. To do something like that, he's supposed to be a role model for young players, right? There you've got young Mikey Moore. What does he must think of this guy?
Yeah.
And now the statements in the dressing room, sticking nitrous oxide up his nose. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the club have to act on this. They have to act. They have to act quickly. They have to act decisively. For me, I would just ban him from the first team squad until he's actually sold.
I mean, I agree with Terry White. Is it a breach of contract?
Possibly is. We need to see the actual terms of the contract there. You know.
Yeah, and also, Philip, to be fair, will Ange stand by this? And from my view, Ange won't stand for this.
I can't see Ange. I mean, my looking at Ange as a player, as a disciplinarian, I'd say if a player got a parking ticket, Ange would blow his fuse. You know, this is a lot more serious.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what players get up to in their personal times, it's down to them. And to be fair, footballers never have the best reputation, do they, for what they do in their private lives, to be fair. I mean, from your time to my time, there's always been, through the years, footballers get up to mischief. It's been the same. We had it with Dele Alli, didn't we? And have we, the question I'm asking, I'm going to ask you, Philip, is, have the club learned anything from the Dele Alli incident, what Dele Alli was doing?
Well, I mean, the club, you know, the club, all they can do is try and instill a code of conduct into their players. And 90% of the time, it works. There's always going to be ones getting through the loop. Like, see, my impression of young modern day footballer, a lot of them, right? There could be. Now, I have to be very careful how I word this, right? I don't want to sound condescending, right? But they might be leaving school with not too many exams behind them, right? They go into a game which they're very good at. They get very well rewarded. Suddenly, they're earning 100 grand a week, and they're in the public eye. A lot of them can handle it. Some of them obviously can't handle it, and there's a few of them go off the deep end. Mason Greenwood been one. You know, there's been a few cases like that. Basuma, I honestly, I'm shocked that he has done this. I thought I would have given him more cop on. He obviously hasn't got it, and I mean, he can only pay the price here by his Tottenham days are finished as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, are you done with them now, Philip?
I'm done with them. I mean, you know, I was a big fan, and for me to, you know, there are certain players I would be delighted to see. Well, not Spurs players, you know, but you know what I mean. But I'm disappointed. I feel let down, as the club should let down. And I would say that's going to be a very, very difficult conversation Ange has to have with him, because he's basically going to ruin this guy's career.
Right. If Boris is now back, I'm going to bugger off.
My just died off again.
No, that's okay. I'm going to bugger off, and Philip's going to say you can say sling your hook.
Oh no! Thanks for that. Thanks for sitting in there, Dermot. Because
I just want to ask you a question. A question, right? Look, my point in this, and I am going to do a pre-record later, but you go back to George Best, to Jimmy Greaves, to Paul Gascoigne, to Mason Greenwood, to all the players during the generation. What is the one thing that links all of them together? There is no help for them. There's no help for these players. George Best in the 70s, there was no help for him at his time. Jimmy Greaves, there was no help for Jimmy Greaves when he went through what he went through. And the fair play to him, the likes of him and Tony Adams have come out of it the other end because of willpower or whatever.
Yeah.
You look at Paul Gascoigne, he's not helped. And with today's game and today's way today games is, Philip, surely, I'll leave you with this, surely there should be more awareness that what Bissouma did was so wrong.
Yeah. Do you know, Dermot, what I think a lot of these players get into, they're easily led. Sorry. They're led. They get, like Dele Alli had a lot of hangers on telling him how great he was. A lot of players over the years have had that problem. These guys seem to attract not the right type of friends. I'll use friends in inverted commas. It's like moths around a flame. They just attract them and they think they're the best of friends. They're either there to milk them for what they've got or to lead them down the wrong path. And it's happened to so many players over the years. I'll not use Georgie Best as a real example, but when George Best's most famous saying was, I spent 75% of my money on fast cars and loose women, and the rest of it I wasted. You know, so footballers are a magnet for hangers on, and that's where the clubs can step in and maybe tutor the players a little bit better, monitor their activities outside the ground after the matches and what have you. And I think there'll be a big improvement, but that probably won't happen because they'll say, well, I've got my own life to lead after I've finished, you know, Monday or Tuesday's my day off, my days off. What I can do what I bloody well want. But anyway, Dermot, if you can bring up the chat there, we'll just go through a bit more. There's some great comments coming in here. Oh, Dermot, you're there. Oh, he is. There you go. And Liston Hines is saying, to me, Bissouma has all the attributes of a top player except for the mindset. It's obvious he's way too much of a relaxed daydreamer to compete at the highest level. Yeah. Boris, what do you think on that? Is that a reasonable comment about Bissouma's attitude?
Yeah, of course. And, well, that's the thing, though. Like, it's a bit like Dele Alli as well, in the sense, like, the similar sort of issues with it, like the drug issues and stuff like that, from what it looks like. Because Dele Alli had all the top makings of a world-class player, and there's something, and he got led down the wrong path, unfortunately. I think COVID was another huge factor to it, because of, especially about how young he was as well, because I think when COVID happened, what were he, like 24, 25, something like that? So was about to come into his prime, really. But unfortunately, COVID happened. Like, if COVID didn't happen, we might have seen something completely different out of Dele Alli, maybe. Because I'd say COVID changed a lot of footballers, really, in their mindsets, because it kept them all
that's a very good point, because they loads of times they weren't playing football. They'd loads of times themselves. You know, not that they weren't playing football, they were stuck in their house a lot of the time. And obviously this is where the hangers-on came along and told him how great he was. But anyway,
another perfect example is Paul Pogba.
True, absolutely.
One of the world's best midfielders back at the time of the 2018 World Cup. And then look at him. He got caught from taking steroids, and now he's on a 4-year ban, and he's 32 years old. So that's him retired from the game for good.
More or less. I'll tell you another one too. Maybe a lesser extent, Mario Balotelli.
Oh yeah,
that massive talent, massive ego. He's done some of the craziest things any footballer could ever think of doing in his time. You know, so he's 34 today as well. So he's nearly the end of his career as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's see a few more comments. Jared O'Connor is saying BISS is a championship player. That's where he might end up, to be honest with you. You know,
I don't even think any championship club would take too much hot water around him. So that would still even go there.
Do you know he might even get a ban from the game over this?
Yeah,
depends how the FA look at it. You know, and Spurs GCTV is saying good evening, gents. Good evening to you, sir.
Evening, sir.
And Liston Hines again. Oh, we've read that one, I think, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that one. And Terry Wright. It's illegal for a reason. It can be very dangerous, and his actions set a terrible example to young people. I'm sure his intent was innocent, but it's terribly irresponsible for a professional footballer. Exactly. I mean, as I said, if he'd done it in private, nobody would be any the wiser. But the way he's done it is just a total lack of cop on, basically.
I don't even think his intent was innocent, really, because he's been in the UK since 2018. I'm pretty sure when he first joined Brighton. So he's been here for what, around 6 years now, and so he would have known the ban was in place anyway. So he knew what he was doing was illegal in that sense, because he's been here that long. He should know the rules of the laws of the country.
Exactly. Yeah. No, he's
I'd understand a bit more if he was a bit younger and he'd just come over from like the Ivory Coast or like other countries, like if he came from Serbia, any other country in the world where it wasn't. and he just came over and did it, it's like a lapse of judgment, I would let him off a bit. But the fact is, he's a grown adult. He's older than me by like 6 years. I'm 22. He's around 27, 28, like 5-6 years. He's older than me, and the fact is, he should know better, but he just doesn't. And it's going to be an issue when it comes like if we don't go down hard on him. What stops the younger kids saying, "Oh, you know what? If he doesn't get punished, so what? What
exactly.
can we just do it at that point?"
He has to be made an example of, whatever way that is. Whether it's okay, you can fine these guys, which is like nothing. I mean, fine them 20 grand. Let's say that's 2 days' wages. 3 days' wages. That's not going to affect them. You've got to either transfer list them, have them training with the kids, or
he's paid 100 grand. He's paid 100 grand a week, so it would be 20 grand. It would literally be a fifth of his wages.
Yeah, which is nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And that's excluding like bonuses. That's just his flat out weekly wage.
Yeah. His image rights and what have you. Well, DJ Salmon agrees with us. It says he has to go. Yeah. So
if this didn't happen and people still wanted him out, I would be arguing against it. But like the fact he's done this, he's like, it's just going to damage us even more, because we had that sort of issue though, didn't we? Anyways, we've seen what happens if players don't get kicked out when they bring a negative atmosphere. Like look at Eric Dyer. Look at all the drama he caused, and look at other players what have come in the drama they've got and they've caused, and they ended up bringing up a negative atmosphere inside of the dressing room and inside of the club.
That's one thing we cannot have. We cannot have a negative. Can't have any prima donnas or any head wreckers in the dressing room.
I feel that's why we're not going after like those big players, like the ones who only won like Champions League football and stuff like that. They're going to be prima donnas. They're going to be all full of themselves, which is one thing why it's understandable and stuff like that. Like, yes, if they're that good, of course they're going to have an ego, but like it's got to be an ego what can be kept in check. So we're not going to buy players who think they're the best of the best when they're clearly not, and they end up just having an ego for it.
Yeah, well, that's true. Do you know, if we could ask everyone that's in the chat at the minute, just put in sell or keep Bissouma. Just put in sell or keep, and we'll just see what the feelings of the watchers and listeners are at the moment. Like at the moment, selling is winning, but bring those up, and Dermot, you might just take a toss of them, a number of them, see who wins. Yeah, it's all sell at the minute anyway. Full-time Sports Network is sell. THFC Gledai is sell. Sean Colliver is sell. Jared O'Connor's free transfer. I wouldn't quite go that far now. We don't lose that much money on him. But,
I'd say 10 million for him, considering we only paid 25 million for him, so it'd only be a bit of a loss.
Like we took a hammer on what's his name, the KFC
Ndombele.
guy, Ndombele. So we can't afford to keep giving away players for nothing just because they've
that's the thing. Like I think that's why everybody thinks we have all this money, but we have to pay like multiple, probably like tens or 20 million, tens of millions just to get players out of the club as well. Really.
Yeah, I know.
And unfortunately, especially with all their bonuses, it all adds up at the end of the day.
True. I'm just hoping that whatever Ange is going to do to him, obviously this is probably something that the manager probably won't have complete control over. It's probably something that will have to be decided by the board.
Yeah.
Because this is an important decision.
I think even the board will see what the issues are with him being like that.
They will, but this is something Ange should not have to make on his own.
Yeah, of course.
I think it'll have to be consensus that he's got to go. And listen, we'll keep a tab on that on the numbers who want to keep him, which is nobody at the moment. Everybody wants to get rid of him.
Yeah, it seems so.
And I'm talking of getting rid of. Emerson has now departed the scene and signed for AC Milan in a deal that's worth about 15 million to us, I think.
15 million euros, so around 12.8 million pounds, and then bonuses as well.
He agreed personal terms 3 months ago, so that shows you how long this one's been dragging on.
You see, that just shows that those teams do have the money. They just like being even more cheapskates than Levy does.
Yes, exactly. It was a long drawn out one, and this is someone we're actually going to come back to. If you can start that one, Dermot, I've got that actually as a talking point later on, if you don't mind. But a possible replacement for Bissouma. And Carl Simpson saying, in the swap deals, European teams will still take him. Maybe they will, but, I'll use Ivan Toney. I'll use Ivan Toney as an example. I mean, everybody thought he'd be well sought after. He's still at Brentford, We didn't go in for him. Well, maybe we did, but we didn't get him. Arsenal had talked to him. They didn't want him. So, it might not be as easy to get rid of him as not, But anyway, the next two, all I can say is good luck to Emerson. I mean, we loved him. We hated him. We thought he was brilliant. We thought he was useless. Probably all in the same match. He was a bit of a character in the dressing room, though. He will be missed in the dressing room. He seemed to really get on with the rest.
He was one of those players who was great in the dressing room, like a great dressing room player like Ben Davies is now. The great players to have around the club to just keep the atmosphere and the emotions high and stuff like that, keep everybody happy and stuff like that. Because you always like if you looked at like his Instagram stories and stuff like that, you always saw like how excited everyone was, how happy everybody was in that sense. Like you just saw how everybody felt about him. Like it was like if you looked as well, like every single like Spanish speaking player, they were always all closely knit together, even if you were Brazilian, Argentinian, Uruguayan, anything like that, they were all a closely knitted group. Yeah,
I noticed the video that was released yesterday. I think when he was leaving the club, the one guy showed up on video was Bissouma. The two of them having a hug before he left.
Yeah,
very slow. Maybe Bissouma was upset Emerson has left. That's why he went off on the
maybe
offside kick. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, maybe because it came out. What was it? Late last night when.
Yeah.
So it was during the evening when that came out.
But anyway, listen, we like to. I mean, I know people have mixed opinions on Emerson, but any player that leaves like he did, like he wish him best of luck with AC Milan.
Exactly.
I hope he has a great career. He's only 25. He's young. He's got plenty of. I think I saw the picture of him in the lovely little new baby with his partner as well. So I wish them best of luck in their time in Italy. And as long as you don't come back and bite us at White Hart at the Tottenham Stadium sometime and score the winning goal in injury time or something, So anyway,
well, it's Milan, so we never know. Especially considering last time we were against Milan, that ended up happening to us again, didn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Now, this is the one. Now, I should say, we normally don't come out with things like this unless they're pretty cast iron going to happen. This one is growing legs all the time. And when you tie it in with what's happened to Bissouma, it might have grown an extra leg. According to Juve Live, Tottenham are ready to submit a 20.5 bid for Juventus defensive midfielder Manuel Locatelli, but Chelsea could be used as a swap. Now, Locatelli is more or less been frozen out at Juve. They've bought Douglas Luiz from Villa, so he's not going to get as much game time as he probably did.
Well, it's not
he's 25. He's 25 years of age. He's in prime of he's a good defensive midfielder, and I would snap him up in a heartbeat. What do you reckon, Boris?
Yeah, I'd go for him. Well, to be honest, a lot of Juve players are getting frozen out, though. So I'm wondering what's going on over there, really.
Yeah.
Look at Moretta. He's frozen out Chiesa. And now he's frozen out Locatelli from the looks of it. So it's a bit concerning what's going on over there. Because,
well, you know something? I couldn't give a tuppence about Juventus as long as we can get some of their players off them. Because
I know, but you always wonder why they're getting frozen out. Though.
Yeah,
that's like I don't want it to end up turning into another Bissouma, another Ndombele. I don't want anything like that. Or another Sessegnon at the end of the day. Like let's be honest, Fulham probably knew about Sessegnon and injury-prone issues, but they never told us. Let's be honest.
Well, we were at Dermot and myself were at the game 2 seasons ago anyway, when we played Wolves, and we were 2-0 down after 20 minutes. And Conte, who was the manager at that stage, pulled Sessegnon off, substituted him at 20 minutes into the game, and Sessegnon had to walk from the west stand around the pitch. About 100 yards to walk around the long way. And I thought at that stage we both thought he would never play for Tottenham again. Mind you, he nearly never did with his injuries. But you're right. I think he's probably the most injury-prone player we've had since Darren Anderson, and that was going back a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen. Good luck to another one that's left the club on a free transfer, and I hope he does well at Fulham. And he's a decent player once he gets fit, if he ever gets fit. Exactly. But anyway, Daniele Zito said I would take Locatelli, really good midfielder. Yes, so would I.
Yeah, from what I've seen of him in the Serie A, he is a great defender. It's just like hopefully he can transition that over to the Premier League, because as we always know, like the Premier League's a completely different ballpark. like the Serie A, it's a more it's like a really defensive league, and it's quite slowed down pace. So hopefully, he has. Like I haven't, because like when we're watching Serie A, I always see it like his slow paced matches and stuff like that. Like the only manager what actually plays like a really attacking style really is Moretta.
Yeah, sure. Well, Italian league wouldn't be as fast paced as the Premiership. But so if he comes, it could take him a while to actually get, to get.
Yeah, well, we've always got Bentancur to keep hold of that defensive midfield spot for the time being. He's an amazing player as it is.
Yeah. And by the way, just we're trying very hard here to get up to 2,000 subscribers. At the moment, we're 9 short of 1,900. So if you haven't subscribed, lads, please just go to the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything. Click the button, subscribe to us, help us grow, and hit the like button as well, because that helps the YouTube algorithm, whatever that means. And
not even just that. Like even if you get your dog to make an account, get your nan to make.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Get your budgie. It doesn't matter. Get your friends who are Arsenal fans. Just get them to join up. We like having other club fans on here as long as they're respectful. We have some very respectful West Ham fans that come on here,
and we've got a respectful Newcastle fans as well.
Yeah, very respectful Newcastle, Man United, Liverpool. We have some not so respectful Arsenal fans. That's the only one we have to watch.
Yeah,
a couple of good ones, but
but it's like Chelsea fans. You've got to always keep an eye on them if they come into your chats.
Oh, the Chelsea, the team that was founded in 2003. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, Dermot, I will tell Dervla on you for that comment.
Yeah, right.
Juve women's side look great. Mind you, I can't talk. I was watching the women's beach volleyball, the Olympics final, which was quite interesting. But anyway,
what do you mean you and Carl were there doing the commentary on it? What are you talking about?
I'm saying nothing. I
found you on some dodgy website called www.philandcarl.com. I see what you do, Rocky.
No, I tell you, actually, I was sitting here. I was actually watching it very respectfully. My wife was watching it as well, and all she could say was, "How come the Brazilian girls are so modestly dressed, and the Canadians look like they're going for a swim?"
All right, before we get demonetized again,
yeah. Anyway, and Carl is saying I was holding the water in the towel. Be like Father Jack in that episode of Father Ted, who was doing a wet t-shirt competition. All he did was more water. Anyway, tequila. Italian women are always sexy. THC till I die. Right. I think we better get back onto the football here, lads, because if the YouTube police are watching here, we could be in serious danger of getting another knock on the door. Anyway, DJ Samuel said I was making tea and coffee. Very good. That's a good excuse. I might use that one myself. So now that's what Locatelli dealt with. Now, other transfer rumours. What's next, I can't even remember now what we're going to discuss next.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Spurs going after another striker. Right. Now, if I said the word Jonathan David to you, Boris, what would you say?
A small person Canadian striker.
Yeah.
A
good foil for Solanke?
I would say so, but like he's a great player, but everybody also seems to forget that a lot of his goals also come from penalties, and we're not a team that really ends up getting penalties.
Yeah, well, one penalty or two penalties a season, that's all we ever get,
Yeah, it was only one penalty last season, and Son took that, so I doubt David will get that. I doubt David will get that job, because if Son scored a penalty, he's probably going to be our penalty taker for the time being, unless Solanke proves that he's a better penalty taker.
Solanke took a couple for Bournemouth last season, all right? But I'm just wondering if the likes of Jonathan David, he knows Spurs have signed a target man striker now. He knows the way we play. We don't play 4-4-2.
Yeah,
so is he not coming to Spurs to sit on the bench, No,
he'd probably end up being fair choice striker anyway, because it'll probably be Solanke, Richarlison, then David, if anything.
Like, I know we've got extra matches this season, the Europa League and whatever, but we've got the likes of Will Lancashire, who's moved up the pecking order. Like, Dane Scarlett seems to have moved down. Dane Scarlett wasn't even in the squad.
I actually saw a rumour about Dane Scarlett. It seems like Sunderland are considering a loan move for him.
Okay. I think that probably will happen, because, I mean, what I saw, Will Lancashire, I think, is more... suited to the striker's role. Maybe I know Scarlett's a smaller type of individual, but Will Lancashire for me now has moved way up the list ahead of him.
Yeah, I'd say even if Jonathan David Cook did come in, I'd say Lancashire be fourth choice.
What's this here? Tequila. David won't be available though sometimes due to his casting in the new Star Wars films about the Ewok. Oh, now come on, that's a bit harsh.
The Canadian Ewok.
That's a bit harsh, you know. But listen, I think, in my opinion, there's other areas we should be strengthening.
I'll say the right wing.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
okay.
I know Demo will hate me for this, but Johnson was good, but he just can't cross the ball in, and we need that sort of player who can cross the ball in to give Solanke better options, and that's why Neto looks like the main option for us because of how good he could cross the ball in. So I don't even think Eze is that good at crossing balls in, really.
Well, Eze, there's rumours. I hate using the word rumour, but there was talk. Eze is still on the cards for Tottenham.
He's still on the cards, but it seems City's also looking at him now because Alvarez has actually signed.
Alvarez is gone, yeah.
He's officially signed for Atletico Madrid, and as Terry Wright said, right wing must be our top priority, and this is why I like Tatsufu Kubo from Real Sociedad, the Japanese kid. He's 23 years old, and he's an amazing player. He's an amazing player. He's got the speed. He's got all that. So I think if he worked on his strength a bit, like what we've seen from other players, we've seen Vicario's a lot more bulky, Udogi's a lot more bulky. So I think if he gets some more time in like a gym or something like that, he'll be perfect for us because he's that amazing. He's got great control of the ball. He knows how to score goals. He knows how to pass and get forward and stuff like that. He's like the Japanese meat.
Yeah,
the roadrunner, like the Japanese roadrunner. That's what he's like. He's that fast.
The only worries I have about Japanese player, I know the young lad at Brighton did very well. You know what he called him? Matoma, and a couple of guys up at Celtic did okay, but I always get a little bit concerned. Will he make it? Will he have, as you say, slight in build? Will he make it? Now, regarding your point about Johnson, I've given Johnson. I think he'll come good.
Yeah,
he has had some very good moments last season. Okay, he's had a few dodgy ones as well. But, I think he's potentially the best crosser, and he won't be a full-time player in the squad, is Timo Werner. I mean, Timo Werner showed against Bayern Munich there. He went by his fullback a couple of times if he wasn't there. And if he can replicate that and get the balls in for Solanke, it could be good. But generally, our crossing is not great, though. It really isn't. We need to improve it big time.
Especially with... It's like Richarlison, we saw if he got some better crosses into him, we see how good he is at heading in goals and stuff like that. He's amazing with that sort of stuff. So if we get an amazing crosser in, so that'll be perfect. But as if Demo brings up this comment from Terry Wright, Bakayoko would be a great signing in his opinion. And he's not wrong. He would be a great signing, but it's just would he come to us, considering I'm pretty sure PSV are in the Champions League and we're in the Europa League.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is he a regular where he's playing?
Yeah, he's pretty regular. He's their starting right winger. Yeah,
and he'd hardly drop a league then, really. Yeah. There's DJ Samuel saying Sunderland looking for a striker. They're also looking at a French League 2 play who scored 25 goals last season. Yeah.
No offense to the League 2 of the French League. It's not that good.
No, I wouldn't think it would be. I don't think it would be. Dane Scarlett might be a good mark for them up there, and hopefully, send them on loan. But I think I can see Dane Scarlett going the way of Troy Parrott. We all 3 seasons ago, we thought he was the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, we all thought it would be
down the pecking order. Now he's been sold off for 10 million. So I can see the same thing happening to.
Yeah, and I see Will Lancashire becoming the second Kane, but actually doesn't need to go out on loan. So honestly, I know it's going to be a hot take, but I feel like Lancashire will become an even better version of Kane.
I hope so. He's certainly got all the after. He's strong. He's physical. He's good in the air.
Exactly, and we've seen how good he is in the friendlies and stuff like that. He fights for his spot. Oh, he's breaking news now for everybody.
So Oxford United.
Yeah.
Oxford, Jesus.
Okay, then. So there we go.
That's shock. I would have thought now he would have gone a bit higher than that, but who knows?
Yeah, it's still a championship side, so it's still a good side. What will end up, because it's like I remember, like Devine and Phillips, they went to Plymouth, didn't they?
Yeah, or Port Vale and Plymouth, yeah. Okay. Listen, good luck to the lad. But you can see the thing is starting to take shape now. I think this is going to be quite a busy couple of weeks coming up, So we'll park the thing about the other striker. I think if David comes, I'd be surprised if he does come. As the consensus seems to be, we need another right winger.
I see the only way David comes is if Richarlison was going, but it doesn't seem to be the case now.
No, he doesn't want to. This is great news, I think. Mikey Moore signing his first professional contract. I think this young lad has got everything. I mean, he's 16 years of age. He plays he was.
Well, 17 now.
But he was 16 when he played against Bayern Munich. Yeah. And he went out on that pitch as if he was playing a schoolboy game. He doesn't, he just fits it in. He really fits it in. And I think if we can hang on to, I know Man United were looking for him, and Man City were looking for him. He's been at Tottenham since he was 7 years of age, apparently. So he really is one, and I can see him playing quite a big part in our games this season. Maybe not as a starter, but certainly an impact sub off the bench, because the guy has got everything. He really has a lot of skill.
Carl, I'm just going to say something above your comment. Can you just get rid of that person? Carl, just ban him from the chat.
Oh,
yes, we don't want anything political.
I can do it here.
All right, then, perfect.
Yeah,
we don't want anything political. We don't want anybody using CHFC till I die name, so we probably know who it is. All right, perfect. Thanks, guys. But yeah, back onto Mikey Moore. You were saying?
Mikey Moore, I hope they're paying him well. I think they are paying him very, very well. I heard rumor that he's one of the highest paid teenagers in the Premiership.
No, he is. I'm pretty sure he is.
Probably is the highest paid Premier, which is great. And I know money isn't everything, but he seems to love the club. And let's hope he goes from strength to strength.
Yeah.
No. Now we'll just go through another few comments here. Let me see. I'll show this one here. Oops. Jonathan David or Jimenez will come in. I have a feeling we are going to use Richie in a swap deal somewhere. As long as it's not Saudi Arabia, because he's not going to go there. Davis or Jimenez? David or Jimenez? Which one would you take? Just say one of them. Yeah, I'd go for Jimenez as well.
He's younger and he's a lot better as a striker. The French league in UEFA standards is better than the Eredivisie, but he's still a better player than David 10 times out of 10. Yeah.
Well, then we'll see. What have we got now? Another 10 days to go on the transfer. With 12. No, today's the 12th.
So we've got
18 days to go.
19 days. Yeah.
19 days. Yeah. So I think a lot's going to happen. I think there'll be a good few of the younger players going out on loan, certainly. And I'm hoping for at least two more major signings.
Yeah, I feel if anything, he'll probably be a right wing and a number 6. And from what it looks like, it could end up being Locatelli and then maybe Kubo or the Bakayoko and stuff like that. Something like that. I'd probably say.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah. Also seems that Zubimendi, like the DM what Liverpool has been targeting, turned them down.
Liverpool haven't signed anybody this summer.
No. I think they've brought more academy youngsters, really.
Yeah, I don't know now. Slot is, I don't know, strange. I mean, I wonder, are the Liverpool fans sounding off about that, or are they quite happy with it?
From what I've seen, they're not really happy.
I'm not surprised. I mean, if we were sitting there having made no signings at all, I think the atmosphere.
Well, you see a lot of our fan base is still angry, even though we've made 3 signings and we've got rid of a hell of a lot of deadwood. And you see everybody still out with pitchforks,
marching down Tottenham High Road with burning, torches and pitchforks. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh,
don't get me wrong. I understand where our fans are coming from, because of course we want more players, but we also have to realise it takes a lot of money to also get players out of the club as well.
Yeah, exactly.
The only 2 players we've got money for really this summer are Rodon and Rodon and Emerson.
Emerson, yeah. Well, we got 20 million roughly between the two of them.
Yeah, around 22 million. Then with bonuses added on, it'll take up to around 27 million pounds.
Yeah. And Terry Wright saying the club has done a terrific job getting unwanted players out the door. Yeah, not bad actually. Not bad. There's a few to go yet, but we're moving along nicely. You can see the ANGE jigsaw taking shape, you know.
Yeah,
and Terry's also saying 2 to 3 more quality signings would be great, which is just what we said there now. Yeah.
From what it looks like as well, it also. I don't know if they're still looking at him, but Barcelona were looking at Reguilon a bit ago, weren't they? Like a couple of days ago.
I saw a thing today about Barcelona. They have bought Danny Osmo.
Olmo, yeah.
They can't register him until they sell more players.
Yeah, I would have said if Spain didn't win the Euros, I feel like we could have ended up getting Olmo.
Yeah, good player.
He's an amazing player. I would have loved him at Spurs. He would have been perfect for Ange's system.
You never know. If Barcelona can't complete the transfer, he might still be on the mark. But Carl is making a good comment there about our Spurs fans. He's just taking it off there. Our fans could fall out with themselves in a soundproof room on their own. Only some of them, Carl. Only some of them, you know.
Only some, not all fans.
Only some. They shall remain nameless. We know who they know who they are. We know who they are. But anyway, that's it. And
Carl's saying, "Give me Rafinha. Give me Rafinha."
Yeah,
it would be a good signing, but do you think he's just too old at this point? Because I think he's like 27, 28 now, isn't he?
Oh, possibly. I'm not quite sure what age he is now.
I can't remember because I remember it was a couple of years ago. He went from Leeds to Barca, didn't he? Because he was on everybody's radar when Leeds went down. I'm pretty sure, wasn't he?
He was. Oh yeah, he was. He was absolutely. You know, I'm just actually in the background here. I'm watching the battle of the 2 relegated clubs last season. Luton at home to Burnley, and Burnley are wiping the floor with them. Luton 1, Burnley 4 at the moment. So Luton now, Burnley managed by our ex-player Scott Parker.
Yep. And DJ Samuel saying Chelsea going to finish mid-table. They're bloody terrible.
Well, do you know, Chelsea have got 40 players on their books at the moment. 40 plus maybe.
Around 47 first-teamers.
I mean, last season, Pochettino, his problem was it was about January before he realised what his best team was, you know? And now he's going to have this new guy, the Leicester manager who moved there, is going to have the same problem. How are you going to keep those other players happy that aren't in the squad?
I know he's going to keep them happy. He's going to blame the Premier League for not allowing more of them to be registered and more of them play on the pitch from what he was acting like when he was saying, it's the Premier League's fault we're having to sell academy players.
They should be docked points like Everton, really.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Chelsea, it also seems
getting away with it.
Docked points again, aren't they? Seems them getting docked points again.
Well, did you see where Manchester United got some special allowance? 35 million.
Oh yeah, during COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, all the other clubs only got $1 million.
Yeah. But we'd end up having to ask Colin what that was about because
there's something funny going on there. You know, I mean, Everton seem to be the scapegoats. They're paying the price for this, and although I heard Leicester could be hit with a points deduction as well.
Yeah, due to the thing is though, guess how much Everton broke the PSR rules by? It's a very 6.5 million. Yeah. That's how small it was, the margin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and just that will bring us on to possibly our last subject. And again, it's nothing to do with Tottenham, but it's to do basically with what we're talking about there. Is Man City case, the famous 115 charges. The case is due to start now in mid-September. Now they're saying approximately mid-September. There's still a chance City will try and delay it even further, but they're expecting a verdict in early 2025. And if you're the judge and you're sitting on the bench here, Boris. What would be your punishment for Manchester City for what they've done?
Well, I'd say treat them like every other team gets treated in a point deduction.
With so much points deduction for every single case that they're found guilty of.
That's the thing, though. You can't really punish him too hard, otherwise the reputation of the league ends up going down. Because, look what happened with Serie A.
Yeah.
Like I know it's wrong to say let them off lightly, but it's hard to decide, and I think that's why it's taking so long for the Premier League to decide on what their punishment's going to be and stuff like that. So even if it was a minus 30 or 40 points, he'd manage to get back. Like if it was a minus 30, 40 points, and then a transfer ban for like a few years, and like a couple £100 million fine, I'd say. I know it doesn't sound like much, but I'd say that still is quite a big impact towards them. Like a 2-year transfer ban, 30 to 40 points deduction, and a £100-200 million fine, and have some. So I can't say you can't relegate them though. It's that because they're that much of an institute in them. I know what you're saying, Carl. I'd like to relegate them too, but that's the difference though. We can't.
But if you deduct 40 points, you are effectively relegating them. More than likely, you know.
But, yeah, true. But you have to remember, it is City. They'll end up managing to get out of it and get.
Well, the only worry that I have on this one, I think it's quite a strong worry, because Manchester City are effectively owned by the Abu Dhabi government. Okay, it might be Etihad Airways, who are also owned by the Abu Dhabi government. I did hear talk some time ago that there's been undercurrents or contact between the Abu Dhabi government and the British government, saying if you throw the book at Manchester City, the price of oil might suddenly rise significantly, and little things like that, trying to stop the punishment fitting the crime. But let's face it, they're guilty as hell. I'm sorry if anybody's offended by that. They are guilty as hell.
Oh yeah,
they were found guilty already, but got off on a technicality when they went to arbitration. So my punishment for would be this. I would deduct them about 25 points, right? 30 points. I would put a transfer ban on them for 5 years. And there's no point in finding them because money's no object to those guys, you know. But then we'd sort of see, well, would the players stick around that are in that team if they're on the verge of relegation?
I'd say the other ones are like the youngsters and stuff like that, like the ones who have come through, so like Rico Lewis, Foden, Oscar Bob, ones like that. But like players like Haaland, Bernardo Silva, KDB, on all them, like let's be honest, we probably also know. Like Alvarez said, it's because I'm not getting playing time. But let's be honest, he probably left because he didn't end up wanting his reputation damaged by this.
Maybe, but it was also spoke earlier. When this thing's been dragging on so long now, it's hard to remember what the actual charges are. Like a lot of them relate to payments made to Roberto Mancini when he was manager, and also to Yaya Toure, and also putting in sponsorship money as when it wasn't sponsorship money as other.
I'm pretty sure when most of the charges from like 2010 to like 2015 or anything like that, it's like the major, like the mass amount of the charges. So they're quite far back.
Yeah, it's quite bad. But I mean, they're still that means if you murder someone 20 years ago, it doesn't mean you're going to get off of it just because it was a long time ago. You know, they're going to get done for the crime eventually. Now, the only thing I did hear too also that there was the rumors that the championship might not accept them.
Yeah, that's the thing, and we can't. Yeah. And that's the thing. We won't be able to remove them from the league because if we end up doing that, let's be honest, the Super League will start coming back around for talks.
Yeah, they'd be the ones that start founding it.
Yeah,
but look what happened to Rangers. I mean, Rangers were relegated by 2 leagues, weren't they, some time ago?
Yeah,
they had to fight their way back.
Yeah, but I think the difference is though, like I'm not saying anything to disrespect the Scottish League and stuff like that, but it's a completely different league, unfortunately, and we see how well the City have done for this league. They've put the league on the map, really, in Europe and all that. They've brought like the big names in and stuff like that, unfortunately. So it's a bit hard to choose what their punishment is because it could end up having major impacts on the league for decades to come.
Exactly, but I think what needs to be done is the punishment has to be strong enough to mean they're not going to dominate. They're going to be down among the dead men for a while, you know. Because I mean, the crime is, to me, allegedly the crime is too serious not to have a severe punishment.
Maybe just a transfer ban for a decade, maybe even that would probably end up.
But then they probably do something like that. They take it to they can afford the best barristers, the best lawyers. They would take it to the court and drag it out forever.
They'd end up taking it to UEFA. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Well, I think that's all the topics we were going to discuss tonight. We'll just go through the rest of the chat here and see who else has come in to have a few, and then we'll see what the actual result of the Bissouma transfer thing was. I think I know what the answer is, but anyway, Hot God 10. Oh God, I haven't seen you for a while. Welcome back. Perhaps ban them buying players. Dermot's very quick on it. Trigger fingers very quick there to Dermot. Anyway, Hot God said, good evening, Philip. Hope you're well. Hello, chat. Good evening to you, sir. Anyway, the next comment was Carl Simpson saying 27 in his prime, take him all day long. Rafinha, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, good player. Good player.
The question is, do we want to give Barcelona money? They're one of the most scummy teams out there. I'd say they're more scummy than Man City.
Yeah, true. Well, Hot God saying I'd relegate them if the charges against City are severe. I think Juve suffered relegation for cooking the books. Yeah, isn't that the case that Paratici got caught up in?
No, this is the Scudetto scandal, Jonathan, where
back a while.
Back in 2005.
They didn't learn much, did they? They didn't learn from it.
Let's be honest, the Serie A has always been like that, but I'm saying this as a fan of the Serie A. It's always been one of those leagues.
Well, I always felt Don Corleone from The Godfather was running the Italian league. Anyway, that's another day's work. And DJ Samuel is pretty severe. He says relegate them to the National League South, even make them travel down south.
I don't even think the National League South would take them.
Well, National League North might, but National League South definitely wouldn't. You know. Terry Wright saying we'd love to see them get relegated, but I can't see it happening. They generate an awful lot of revenue for the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you can't. That's another reason. If you're guilty of something, there shouldn't be mitigating circumstances. Money shouldn't be a mitigating circumstance. If you're guilty as hell, you should pay the price.
It shouldn't be, but let's be honest here. It
will pay. Money
that's
talks.
How the Premier League. That's how the Premier League works. Unfortunately, we've seen that because we're seeing now it's the biggest revenue stream in the entirety of football, the Premier League.
Exactly. And Carl Simpson's a very good point here. He says there was a reason that Guardiola stopped all contract talks. Yeah, he probably knows. He'd know more from being an insider there what's actually going on and what can possibly happen. So
yeah, look, Guardiola, he's been heavily linked with the England job, hasn't he?
Yeah.
To take over from the Irishman who's taken over as interim.
Well, Lee Carsley's only there for an interim period anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's unless he does a really good job. I wouldn't mind seeing him as the manager with how good he played with the under 21s because of the amount of players he brought through that as well. Like he brought Palmer into the U21s, Trafford, who was the best player in that entire U21s tournament, the best keeper there. Yeah.
Well, he's obviously that's why he turned down Ireland. Obviously, he knew this was coming along for England, you know. Hot God is saying perhaps ban them buying players for 2 seasons and 30-point deduction. 30 points would probably still keep them up, really.
Even 40 or 50 points, let's be honest.
Because let's face it, teams were relegated this season with 26 points. So add 40 onto that, get 67 points, you're still hanging around. City normally get 80, 90 points. They'd be comfortably mid-table on 50 points, you know. Anyway, we'll see what happens. And as Colin is saying, City could at some point this season be deducted 41 points. Just have to wait and see the outcome of the investigation and trials. Interesting. 41 points. That would be a nice little number to have them to fight. That would leave them
mid-table,
lower table.
I'd say they'd be around fighting for European, like Europa Conference League, really, around that sort of area.
Well, I don't know it'd be that high. If they normally get 85, 90 points, take 40 off them, they're 50.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, but they wouldn't even be as high as the conference conference thing. Dermot, is it all the votes are in? I think for Bissouma, is he going or is he staying? I think he's going.
He's gone. The votes have been officially counted and verified by the European Union. I can announce that you're good to go. I've always wanted to do that. Sorry, Eurovision Song Contest. Sorry. Yeah, he's gone. And whoever came in using our name and logo, just watch Liam Neeson, what he has to say with people that do stuff like that. Then you know what's happened. Then you know. I'm sick of this idiot coming in, ruining our shows, guys. I don't know what. you want to say anything, but I think it's got to stop, and this idiot has to go and get a life.
If Liam Neeson is listening, we'll send you your man's address. Liam, go and do a job on him. I'm only joking, by the way. Don't take that seriously, YouTube.
I think we'll end the podcast on that bombshell.
I think so. Liam Neeson, the Liam Neeson show. Anyway, listen, that's been a really, really interesting and enjoyable show, lads. It really has been. We've covered a lot of tactics, a lot of different topics there. Again, thanks to Boris for he's like a duck to water taken to this podcast and this streaming lark. So well done, Boris. And thanks, Dermot, again. You know, keeping us on the straight and narrow in the background there.
Exactly, making sure we kept on track.
Yeah, exactly.
I love doing YouTube, and I love my channel. I love this channel. I love the good people I work with. We've got a good group here now. Myself, Tequila, and Boris, you, Philip, and Colin. Everyone, please, I'm going to keep saying this. Everyone in this channel has different opinions on Tottenham. We're all Spurs fans at the end of the day. So everyone, please respect the hosts, respect the people in the chat, but also respect the people that are hosting and running the shows. We don't get paid for doing this. This is something we have to do off our own back. We make an awful lot of sacrifices in our own personal lives to do these shows. So the likes of Philip and Boris and Tequila and Colin as well, show them all respect because they all deserve it.
Nah, I don't deserve respect.
We're all one. We all support one club at the end of the day. We're all supporting. It's got to be. We've got to be. And there's an awful lot of disrespect going around. This idiot using our name and channel logo. Please, the likes of Tequila. He has a different view to me, but he's respectful. Respect Tequila, respect Philip, respect Boris, respect Colin. They all deserve respect because they all put a lot of work into this channel and help me do what I love doing, which is YouTubing. So please show them all respect, guys, because they all deserve every one of them do. And I'll let you close out the show, Philip. And
don't forget, this will be up on Spotify and anywhere you normally get your podcast. Don't look it up under the Monday Night Massacre. So. But actually, we should pick a subject every Monday who we're going to massacre. I think it was Manchester City got massacred tonight. And I'd say Bissouma.
Yeah. So we'll have to find some drama going on in football.
We got 2 victims tonight. So that's
2 for the price of 1, guys. You're welcome.
2 for the price of 1. So we'll be back on this particular massacre next Monday night around the same time.
Yep.
Dermot will be on tomorrow, I think, with Tequila. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. Pretty sure.
And on Wednesday, then there'll be a sort of preliminary preview of the upcoming season, the Premiership season, which unfortunately we have to wait till this time next week before we get playing. It's going to be hard, you know. But anyway,
we've got royalty coming on Wednesday.
Ooh,
we've got Dave and Jack coming on. Dave and Jack are coming on Wednesday, joining us.
So we
got the Irish Hotspur.
Very good. We better put the red. Does that mean we have to get the good china out?
It does. Yeah.
Put sauces under the cup.
But you're going to be somewhere, aren't you, Philip? You're going to be somewhere doing legs 11, aren't you? Or
don't talk to me, please. Don't talk to me. Unfortunately, I'm like, you know, Batman had this rumor that his alter ego was Bruce Wayne. My alter ego is reading bloody bingo numbers on a Wednesday night. But anyway,
so I'm
stuck with it now. So.
Hang on. So can we officially call you Bingo Man?
No, you can't. You
instead
can,
of
but
the
you can't.
Instead of the penguin, the bingo.
No,
the bingo. No. Boris, you're a genius.
Right. Okay. It's been nice knowing you, lads. See ya.
On that bombshell.
Don't forget, lads, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We need your help to get to 2,000. We want to get there. And in the meantime, come on, you Spurs.
Guys. I'm just doing that because Tequila's not here, so I thought I'd put it in.
Take care.
Bye.